Well, I did it. I dug out a large chunk of this base, and it actually doesn't look that large because it only stripped out a couple layers along the back here, but I got it all the way down to the other end and got the walls in place. So that's something, right? I also went and installed an elevator here so that I can actually get up to the second floor, which I also stripped out part of and found a geode that we're pretty much just gonna destroy. The problem is all of this took me like 2 hours to do manually with a hammer and a shovel, and I still nowhere near done. So this episode I wanted to move closer to getting the destruction gadget made from building gadgets, or I guess structure tools and fabric, so that frankly I can make destroying all of this a lot easier and not worry about reclaiming most of the materials here, because at this point I don't really care about stone or dirt. I do kind of care about that geode and the stuff surrounding it, but we can always do that manually. But the problem is the destruction gadget and most of the building gadget stuff requires this electronic circuit, and well, this looks scary and like a lot of stuff we don't have, except honestly most of it's not too bad because we've already done the analog circuits, although we don't have it automated yet. These diodes right here look kind of scary, but electrum we can make because this is actually just silver and gold in a mixer, and we can make the wire inside the wiring machine. The scary part, however, is this N-doped silicon plate, which appears in more than one of these pieces, as well as the P-doped one. These are things we are not anywhere near yet, unfortunately. Hello everybody, I'm Martin, and welcome to another episode of Static Industry. And if we can't work on the destruction gadget today, well, what are we gonna do? And I think the answer is we should probably get working on the infrastructure to be able to support it once we can get to it, as well as actually make the scanner, which it also needs power anyways. Because the answer to our progression needs is sitting here back in the Steam Age chapter near the end, right here at the battery box from Tech Reborn, which is just like the battery box from Industrial Trapped. It just allows you to store energy and extract it into items. And honestly, it's pretty easy to make other than these 3 redstone batteries, which if you remember from last time requires battery alloy, which requires the antimony that I am completely out of. So hopefully we have enough of this to get this made, and then I will be able to use the scanner to find more. You know, maybe, hopefully, I don't know. 1, ignore the fact that we just ran out of tin cable, we're fine. 2, and 3. I have really got to set up some compressors for basic use, and one of all of these machines here, I really need to redo this area sometime soon. All right, and now we have the battery box. But this does open up the question of, does this take power from Steam or not? And it doesn't look like it does. Which is fine, because I had intended to move over to starting to get electrical power anyways by starting into the Electrical Age chapter and moving over to the LV steam turbine, which takes steam and converts it into electricity. And this is back down the rabbit hole, because while we can make the analog circuit, although I still haven't automated gold, I probably should get on that, and make the basic machine hall, these tin rotors are the standard, although I don't know if I've got all of the pieces automated yet. This motor right here is new. And these, however, require magnetic steel rods, which is just a bunch of redstone and a steel rod, thankfully. So right now, this isn't that hard to make, but it is expensive in terms of redstone. Later, when we can make the polarizer, these become a lot cheaper, but they require EU power, and we can't even generate EU power yet, really. Not the type that this needs, because this requires an LV network. So I guess let me see if I can pretend I know what I'm doing and get this set up, huh? Alright, so I set up a bunch of infrastructure for tin, so that's all handled now. Not that I did gold, mind you, but we should be able to make the tin blades now, which should let us put together the LV steam turbine. And now to see if this works the way that I think it does. I'm just attaching it here temporarily because I don't actually know how this works. There we go, and it clicked on, and it appears to be generating power. Now, assuming this all works the way that I think it does, it should be able to output power to anything connected to it. So I should be able to put the battery box on there, and the battery box should be getting power, and it's not. Dang it! Maybe with copper LV cables, which, can I even hook this up? Sure doesn't look like it. Aha, maybe that's what I needed to do. There we go. And there we go into the bat box, and it's now getting power. So I probably could have connected it directly to that. Now, to be clear, I fully intend to move all of the LV stuff upstairs onto the next deck, but I mean, I'm not ready for that. This area is not ready. What this does, however, mean is that we can now actually make and use the scanner, however, although I need to go set up gold plates. Okay, you know what? I even set up this bronze compressor to do the curved tin plates, I can just do it on here. But I'm starting to run out of room on my macerator and my furnace right here for processing gold, and I'm going to need silver as well. So I probably should just set up another bank over there. And yes, I'm going to eventually tear this whole room apart and rebuild it. It would make it less of a mess. It should be a lot easier to do once I finally have access to AE2. There, fine. I got the gold and silver finally set up properly. Although I'm not doing silver plates yet because I don't know if I need them, but I probably should actually start making electrum. But that's a bit out of scope for this episode so far. So instead, let's just go make the scanner and power it up in my wildly improperly placed battery box. Wow, that is slow. Now, the other thing we're going to need to make are these scanner modules, specifically the rare ores and common ores ones, because I'm not actually sure what the antimony falls under for this. We might want some of these other ones eventually, especially like the range one, and maybe I should actually do the range one sooner than later. Oh, but ender pearls. Kind of low on these. Don't have a way to get them easily right now. But thankfully I had cactuses set up so the green dye shouldn't be an issue. Choppy, choppy. Ow. Okay, and playing cards. And one card. And rare ores. Now to use the scanner, you shift right click it, which opens this up, and you can put the modules in. And then once you have that, you just hold down right click to charge it up and look around and see, oh good lord, there's a large pile of something under me. Zinc ore. Oh, it actually tells me now. That's interesting. So now I just have to go looking for more antimony on my own free time. Now, that said, nobody wants to go watch me actually go mine, right? We should go do something a little more interesting and something that actually progresses us big time through this pack, right? Because there is a big piece at the very beginning of the LV section that is super important. And that's right here with the assembler. And this does exactly what it says it does. It's basically an automated crafting bench. And, well, one of the first things we want to do is use this to automate itself, more than likely. And while this looks scary to make, we actually have all of the pieces, although not all automated yet, because, well, obviously we can't automate the analog circuit. We need the assembler. But if we go into these things like the robot arm, we've made all of these before, and the motors aren't scary. This is just more expensive redstone. The only thing really new here is the piston, which, well, it's just a bunch of steel and another motor. And then the other new piece is the conveyor, which is, well, this is where the rubber comes in, along with more motors. So actually, I should probably be automating the motors pretty close to first, but we've got all the other pieces that have to go up into that as well. And we've got to respect the fact that I still don't have my rubber situation sorted out because I don't know what's wrong with those pipes yet. I probably should just wire it to my Tom Simple storage stuff and be done with it. But let's get the assembler made, huh?
I don't want to slow down, I don't want to slow down, I don't want to slow down till I burn out. I just want to live fast, I don't want to look back and say I could have done more than I did now. Sometimes it can be hard, yeah, it can be hard, yeah, it can be hard when you grow up. People fill you with doubt, you start thinking about what you're gonna do now. But we only got one chance and got one life to live.
And there we go. Now, I gotta say, with all the microcrafting I had to do to get that this is definitely gonna be the first thing that I'm going to be automating, but it requires a whole bunch of subcombines to automate that up. Oh, hey, remember what I was saying about not having enough ender pearls? Nuts. All right, so I moved my steam turbine upstairs along with the battery box just because this is where all the LV equipment's going to be. And I set up the very first assembler. It's facing the wall because, well, that's just makes sense. Now, in theory, I've got all this set up properly. We're going to be making the gold capacitor recipe here. And sort of like my other machines downstairs, I am using machine extenders, but this is closer to where we were making like the steel blend alloy, where we're using these to all make a single recipe because we're not really going to be able to change this over time. So you'll notice that each of the 5 slots here are set to capacity 1 to take a single item. I also locked the slots so they can only take the specific items they're supposed to take, which I really need to remember to set these up without hooking up the power first because getting the recipe in otherwise is a giant pain. I hate the fact that these have no redstone controls. Each of these hoppers is set up for in one of those individual items, and now we just need to set up the level emitters, and this should work. And of course it doesn't. I don't know, I apparently somehow got the recipe wrong, and I unlocked it and had to relock it, and now this is all in a weird order, but now this appears to be working properly. Although it seems to be not extracting them now. Yeah, it helps if the pipe is set to outgoing, so this should now stop after this one, and if it doesn't, then we got a problem. Anyhow, I think you see how this works, and I'm going to need to fill out a humongous number of these now, just to get to the point where I can automate making more assemblers. I don't even want to think about how many. It's probably 20 plus just to do this. I don't want to do the count. I'm kind of scared because that's a lot of them. But as I get through them, they'll become faster and faster to make until I just don't have to worry about making them anymore. But I'm going to do that on my own time. Alright, so while we're here, I'm going to go pick up one last easy quest, the Modern Dynamics LVEU cable, because it's really, really easy. And honestly, they said it's just strictly cosmetic. For the most part, it doesn't differ from the normal LV cables. So we'll just take the reward, because honestly, right now, the rewards might be significant. We're also going to get one from Spectrum down here, so that might be interesting. Well, you know, it's sad when I look at this list, and the most exciting thing here is this block of battery alloy for free. So we'll take that. The rest of this stuff gets potentially useful, like there's more cables here, and another 8 katana, which might be better than what I have, but probably isn't. Anyhow, if you found this episode interesting and entertaining, please leave a like and subscribe if you're new. As always, I'm Ard. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.